Yo, what's going on, guys? Bexio back, and today we got a brand new video back on Bitcoin and this super cycle talk, price action, all of that. But there's a TikTok going around that is actually a pretty funny TikTok here. This is it. We're gonna start off with this because it is pretty funny of everything that's going on in crypto, super cycle talks, Peter Schiff's in there, gold and stuff. So it's just funny to look at.
I see a friend of mine. Say, Ethrock, have you seen Fiat around here? Don't worry about Bitcoin. She's just volatile because she's about to start her super cycle. Are you seriously talking to a rock? It's an Ethrock and it's worth more than you are. Yeah, in Fiat, which is gross.
Richard Nixon, you son of a bitch!
Oh my god, it's gold. The gold? Like the prehistoric version of you? Wow.
I was trying to keep up with inflation. And then Peter Schiff caught me and trapped me in his basement. I've been there for over 10 years. Wait, who are you guys? Hello, brother.
So, just a funny TikTok overall because we've all seen these rock NFTs going for literally millions of dollars, which is, I don't know why you would do that. A JPEG of a rock, don't understand that one. Some of the NFTs and artwork and stuff, you can pass that, but literally, rocks is crazy. There is one rock that just sold for like over dollars or something crazy that is literally just white, and it's the invisible rock. The things are going crazy. This is a bubble 100%. But talking about a super cycle in this, that there's two versions of a super cycle that I think could happen with Bitcoin. One is the rally to $1 million with like mass adoption happening all at once. And the other one is this adoption happening, but it's happening at a slower pace and ramping up. And that super cycle is what I think we're going to be in, where it's more of a gradual tick up over 4 or 5 years with no real bear market. So instead of having an explosion up and a bear market drop 50-60%, that is just going to kind of be, there'll be corrections along the way. We had a 50% correction. And that didn't lead to a bear market as we've seen the price right now. But I think that we'll be in places where the price will just continue gradually rallying as adoption continues gradually taking over, and there won't be that massive bear market happening. As for the price of Bitcoin, we still have this ascending channel that we are just barely in. And you see we've got rejected basically both times off this $49,200, $300 level. Right now, we're just above this bottom line. We want to try and stay in this channel and get back above. Obviously, this big resistance is massive now, just like what we had in 47,000 here, which acted as a support. We dipped below a little bit, but ultimately blasted back off and hit this resistance and fell back down. So this is the next massive resistance, which makes sense because after this, there is nothing above it. There is just nothing until $58,600 for a Bitcoin, and then we'd go just to price discovery all-time highs after that. So getting above this level is the last really, really big challenge before, taking off. And then we also have the talks of the traders coming back in, and that's where we might use more leverage, and that'll like rifle the price up, but that'll bring more of an opportunity of a correction of a big one, like 20-30% or something. But traders will probably come back in either after we securely get above $50,000 or above the $1 trillion market cap. Like those might be two signs that traders are waiting for to jump back in, and that'll bring in a lot more explosive price moves and volatility to Bitcoin. And an interesting thing to look back on is when Bitcoin was brand new, you had Hal Finley talking about a $10 million per Bitcoin when Bitcoin was brand new, and he talks about this whole thing. You could pause to read it. It's long, but it's worth the read. Basically assuming that Bitcoin is successful, saying it's becomes a dominant payment system throughout the world, and then says the world wealth ranges from 100 trillion to 200 trillion, and then with 20 million coins, that gives each coin a value of about $10 million. And right now, if you actually took that, it's 21 million, obviously people know that, but he might have been thinking like a million are lost forever, or that million in the Genesis block, Satoshi's wallet, whatever you want to call it. But on top of that, we have about 3 or 4 million coins that are gone forever, that people lost access to don't remember the code or the phrase to. So it's just gone. So no one can get in and get those coins. So that 20 million quickly comes down to 17, 16 million, which means that Bitcoin would be worth even more because there's even less of it available with all of them that are lost. So in total, we were looking at somewhere between 3 to like 5 million coins that are lost that people just don't have access to. And that will make Bitcoin more valuable as the world adopts and stuff, because there just won't be that 5 million Bitcoin that people can buy. So that just takes it off the market permanently. Talking about buying Bitcoin, this is the El Salvador president talks about giving everyone in El Salvador $30 worth of Bitcoin. You just download an app and then claim your Bitcoin, and then you can use it to buy and sell stuff. Even within that app, you get the Bitcoin there. You can use that app to receive Bitcoin, to sell goods, or send Bitcoin to buy goods. So it's like an all-around app to encompass Bitcoin. El Salvador, obviously, on September 7th, I believe, is when the Bitcoin legal tender will be fully actually in place, where Bitcoin is legal tender in El Salvador. And this will be the first major thing for everyone to kind of look at and say, is Bitcoin a success in El Salvador? When they see that it's doing well, or if it takes off and people start to really enjoy it, then other countries will probably pile in. We've already seen Cuba make a move towards making Bitcoin legal tender and regulating it and stuff. So a lot of other countries can jump in and, kind of tie their currency to Bitcoin, or use Bitcoin as their own currency to stabilize their country from like hyperinflation and things that are happening to them, or even troubles with the dollar. And wrap this video up with some on-chain metrics. This is Will Clemente. He's a great person to look at on-chain stuff, and talking about structure this time is different. Long-term Bitcoin holders set the floor, and that's what this chart is showing right here. So where you see the bottoms, like holders, start to come back in, and people that are long-term holders that want to hold Bitcoin and buy it for reasons to hold it for X amount of years, or the long term, or hold it forever, is where they set the bottom. So where these start to spike up, you see there's the price move. Right now we saw this correction down here, and then this spike started to happen, and the price started to spike up because of this supply shock ratio. Long-term holders taking more Bitcoin for themselves, holding it, that's off the market, can't be touched, can't be sold. So the price has to be adjusted to reflect that. And it's not the only thing that affects the price, but what this shows is like it sets the bottom. So when markets bottom out is usually when this long-term holders start to accumulate. You see this trends down, long-term holders start to accumulate a lot, and then the price starts to come up again. Then the long-term holders started not accumulating and everything, but it sets the bottom where it doesn't really go lower than what it was before here. So this recent rally, you see this correction here, long-term holders spiked up, price spiked up. So we're looking at the bottom being about that $30,000 level, where it just wouldn't go below for a long time, and now we're well above it, and the long-term holders got cheap Bitcoin, or the Bitcoin they wanted, at the lower prices. And the network continues to grow. The transaction volume just reached an all-time high of $8 billion, almost $8.4 billion, and this whole chart here just kind of shows that. Just massive spikes. This is just the network going, as the price moves up, this transaction volume would move up as well. You'd figure if you're sending one Bitcoin worth 10,000, that's 10,000 transaction, $10,000 transaction. If one Bitcoin's 50,000, that's a $50,000 transaction. So as the price goes up, this will go up as well. But it also shows kind of adoption of Bitcoin as well. The network being used more and more, people getting involved in it. And this number is actually crazy because a lot of people, especially in like El Salvador and stuff, are going to be using the Lightning Network, so off-chain, so it won't be reflected on a transaction volume. So to see the base layer Bitcoin being used and transacted and reaching all-time highs is great for adoption and bullish for Bitcoin. So that's going to do it for this video. Bitcoin, is it entering a super cycle? Who knows? There's definitely two versions of that. It's either going to explode in price to the $1 million, or, like I think, going to be more gradual in price appreciation, and not seeing that bear market that we've been seeing for every cycle. So hopefully we break away from the 4-year cycle, break into this super cycle, and break away from at least the bear market. I would be much more happy without seeing a bear market, just seeing it grind up. It's a lot more psychological for people to hold through a bear market than to hold during the good times. But as always, guys, don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. See you guys in my next video.